Hey sailors, welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Janda, and this is a Let's Play of Rule the Waves 3 as the United States. The date is January of 1906. We've been at war with Germany and Spain for 8 months, or we've been at war with Germany for 8 months, and Spain has just finally joined the war due to their alliance with Germany. Japan, however, is on our side in the war. So it's a pretty major globe-spanning conflict at this point. The major theaters are the Central Pacific, where we still have more ships than we can actually afford. And now the Caribbean, where Spain has shoved in a lot of armored cruisers. We're currently building one questionable but maybe effective battle cruiser, along with a couple of armored cruisers which are due to finish up shortly. We are 12 months out from finishing the battleship New Mexico, and we've got a fresh flotilla of destroyers almost finished. In light of all that, and because I don't quite know what else to spend my money on while waiting for battleships to be finished, I am going to start upgrading our bases in Hawaii because I think that should be a valuable possession for us um, for any future operations in the Pacific, basically. Now, as for the rest of our forces, we have a good battleship force in the Caribbean, so we should have enough force superiority to take Guantanamo Bay, even though Spain technically has more ships than us there, but I'm not overly concerned about them. Now, our coasts are almost bare, except for these ships I've just moved back to the west coast. I guess I should send... Well, in fact, did I already send the Pittsburgh class back towards the... No, I guess not. Let's send several of the Pittsburghs to the Caribbean to reinforce our fleet there. Because Spain has so many armored cruisers over there, and Germany doesn't really have a lot here. And we've generated a cruiser action in, well, just off the coast of Cuba, which we control, but Spain controls Guantanamo Bay. And due to an intelligence coup, we can ambush the enemy force. So that's an excellent bit of news. So, okay, we've got a lot of ships here, actually, relatively. The armored cruisers Charlotte, the light cruisers Cincinnati and Baltimore, which I believe are both Chicago class, so our older class, but not a bad class. Charlotte is one of our newer Memphis class armored cruisers, although not one of the very newest San Diego's. And it looks like we have about okay, we've spotted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 destroyers with us, plus this patrol boat that's generated itself for some reason. Just because we're off of one of our ports, I think. Alright, we've spotted an unidentified Spanish warship down here. We're going to go investigate that. It's an armored cruiser. That's not really surprising. They have several of those here. The big question is going to be how many armored cruisers do they have in this area that can actually engage us right now. Also, I need these to get into a line ahead formation if we're going to fight a battle with them. Okay, that's one armored cruiser, Infanta Maria Teresa class. Perfectly reasonable armored cruiser, not a new armored cruiser, but perfectly reasonable. More than a match for one Chicago, but not really a match for two, probably, and that's without Charlotte, so So far, I don't see anything for us to be too concerned about. Not entirely sure why Baltimore has decided to detach herself from Cincinnati, but she just landed a couple of hits, so that's something. Just got to make sure Charlotte keeps coming on at a high speed. Okay, the Spanish are clearly running. I don't know if that's actually a light cruiser, if it's just a destroyer, but they are running, and it'll probably just come down to whether or not we can land a hit that will significantly disable or impair Infanta Maria Teresa. I mean, we are landing more hits than we're taking for sure, but well, here comes Charlotte. Now, the good news is actually, I don't even consider it, but Charlotte is a relatively brand new cruiser. She makes 22 knots, I believe. Infanta Maria Teresa here could only make 20 knots new, and she's pretty old now, so there's a good chance we're 3 or 4 knots faster than her, which should allow Charlotte to catch her. Now, what time? It's pretty early in the day, but it's also January, so I'm guessing it's not. We've got a couple hours. I'm not sure if Cincinnati took a hit that caused engine damage, or no, the engines are just giving her trouble because they're old. But that's fine. But that's why she can only make 17 knots, unfortunately. Okay, Charlotte is definitely closing the range now. Very quickly. In fact, we're almost in range. Oh, they've definitely lost some speed there. It says heavy damage. That seems a lot, but a lot to claim from the relatively few 6-inch hits we've landed, but a little scared of those destroyers. Baltimore has managed to not have any sort of destroyer screen because they're all attached to Cincinnati. But that is perfectly fine, just so long as we stay out of range of their torpedoes. Which we are not succeeding in doing, but Infanta Maria Teresa is really radically slowed down. I think she must have taken a hit to the engines or something. It's astonishing. I'm not quite sure what the tipping point was, but from very close early battles we had with Spain, I mean, I know they don't have new ships compared to us, but I think the AI has been really lax about installing modern fire control on their ships, and they are paying for it compared to us, because this is very one-sided in terms of gunnery at the moment. Same with Germany in several cases. That cruiser is... Charlotte never really even got into this very much, but, well, there's an 8-inch hit among the pile of hits. I would say that cruiser is pretty much dead already. And we managed to torpedo her. Cincinnati managed to torpedo her with the underwater tubes, the submerged tubes. So that's that decided. I don't know what signals. I didn't even send any signals, but okay, she's going to steam that way. We will try to run down and take out some of these destroyers. It's not a huge deal whether we do or not. The armored cruiser was clearly the main prize. They're much faster than us, so... I mean, I could detach our destroyers to try to catch them, but I'm not too worried about it. If, as I imagine they will, they do get away, not a big deal. No, Baltimore and Cincinnati have finally linked up. The end of the battle. Okay, yeah, they're going to make it back to Guantanamo Bay without any trouble. That's fine. We'll head for Santiago. This is their last good base in this portion of the... I mean, they have Puerto Rico also, but... whoa. Alright, don't ask me why that just happened. I don't know. Guantanamo Bay is their only base left in the Western Mediterranean, so... we are planning to invade it as soon as possible. Albeit our control over what the army does is a little limited, but... yeah, everybody into port. Yeah. Alright, so that's the end of that. We took light damage to 2 destroyers. We inflicted light damage to a destroyer and a corvette. And, in essence, poor Pedro de Aragon here was... more or less obliterated. I mean, 52 6-inch shells, or 8-inch shells, a couple of them probably. Yeah. I just saw one. There's a couple more. And then, oh, the torpedo actually, I thought she just sank immediately, but no, the torpedo actually hit her magazine and caused her to blow up, which is just probably a demonstration of how little torpedo protection there is on ships from 1890. So she's gone. And that leaves Spain with... oh no, the German destroyer's been interned in South American... oh, several German destroyers have been interned in South America. Improved hoists, gradual rate of fire improvement, superimposed B turret. And... oh, wow. Japan has suffered a bit of a... well, Japan has fought a battle with Germany in the Caribbean. They sank the armored cruiser Nuremberg, but lost the torpedo boat Oita, the battleship Iki, and the armored cruiser Nishin. So I would say Japan lost that battle. Oh, and... oh, wow. Okay. Japan being more active than us at the moment. They also battled the German Navy off the South American east coast, lost the armored cruiser Kako, but sank the armored cruiser Berlin and the battleship Schleswig-Holstein. So, what did Japan altogether just lost? 2 armored cruisers and a battleship, but sank an armored cruiser and a battleship? And I think... oh, I can see it in the intel reports here, I think. Or, not here. The messages. Although I can't see all of the message because it's too long. But I believe, yeah, they sank an armored cruiser and a battleship. They lost 2 armored cruisers and a battleship, but I think those were some of Germany's... the Schleswig-Holstein was just one of the Schleswig-Holstein class, which is not... it's rather undergunned, to tell the truth. But I think Japan's... no, Japan's was one of the modern ones, so that's a pretty big setback for Japan, actually, to lose one of these. However, Nuremberg, I believe, was one of the... yeah, Nuremberg was one of their 3 very modern Stettin-class armored cruisers. I'm not sure which class the Japanese one was from. Or either of them. Overall, I would say Japan got the worst of that, to be honest, but... not my ships. Not to throw our ally under the bus, but not my ships. Okay, Germany has hardly got anything left in the Central Pacific. They've pretty much retreated. So just to avoid overstressing our ships, I'm going to retreat the Oklahomas and the Memphises and a couple of the light cruisers just to our west coast. And hopefully then we won't be over our base capacity so much here. Spain has, following that little defeat, pulled most of its forces out of the Caribbean. Apparently there's only... I mean, hardly anybody has anything of any note here. Japan has 4 armored cruisers in the Caribbean. Germany and Spain have a total of 4 destroyers. Okay, Germany has a big task force off the South American east coast. I don't know which direction it's going. Everybody's sailing around South America all the damn time. It's very hard to say what's happening with it, though. The Spanish fleet is mostly at home still, or currently. I'm going to focus on this invasion of Guantanamo Bay and let what they're doing sort of figure itself out. If we actually take the territories, it should indeed work itself out. Now, in terms of ships... battleships are where we're most lacking compared to Germany. Also armored cruisers, but I don't want to build more of those just yet, really. Unless I could actually build... No, I still need 4 central line turrets for that. The trouble is very much that I'm waiting, hoping to wait for 4 center line turrets before I build a really expensive new battleship. We could maybe try to build a second. A second Lexington-class battlecruiser. But I don't feel like they've got good longevity. Let's just put the money into more docks for now. That's definitely not an optimal decision, but whatever. How much basing capacity do we have here? Yeah, pretty good, actually. Two destroyers commissioned. Okay, bigger torpedo warheads, more damage. Insufficient force superiority? It's just Guantanamo Bay. We control the whole rest of... What? Oh, that whole squadron from the... I didn't really think that Japan wasn't at war with Spain. Apparently they weren't. But they are now. Yeah, Germany has reached the Caribbean with that whole squadron. Fortunately, not much of the Spanish fleet has joined them. I could stand to rush more ships back here, to tell the truth, but they wouldn't likely arrive in time. Except I do have the 3 Memphis-class arriving in a month. Or, not Memphis-class, 3 more Pittsburgh-class arriving in a month. Looks like Germany is also sending a bunch more stuff around the South American coast. They've pretty much pulled everything out of the Pacific after rushing stuff there before, but they've moved a bunch more into the Central Pacific. So there's now 2 areas, the Central Pacific between Hawaii and the Marshall Islands. I didn't actually know you could zoom in this much. The Central Pacific between Hawaii and the Marshall Islands. And the Caribbean between our Cuba and Puerto Rico, Guantanamo Bay. Both of those areas have the potential for full-on battleship versus battleship engagements between ourselves and Germany now. Spain is sort of holding back. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of their ships were too short-ranged to leave Europe, to be honest. But time will tell. What do you mean, estimated enemy forces? Well, okay. Unexpected convoy battle. I hope they've actually got battleships here, to tell the truth. Oh. 6 destroyers unable to arrive due to lack of fuel, but Japan will fight by our side. We're north of Puerto Rico. We're closing in on an enemy transport. And we have brought with the battleships Colorado, California, and Connecticut. Now, these are all our most modern California class with 4 12-inch guns, 12 8-inch guns, and 18 3-inch guns, plus 12-inch belt, all while making a respectable 16 knots. These are the best battleships, the heaviest capital ships we have in actual service. Besides that, we have... Apparently we're all low on fuel. Besides that, we have... Looks like... Hold on, I can see the whole order of battle here. We have 3 armored cruisers here. Pueblo, Huron, and Frederick, which... I think... Are these all the same class? Oh yeah, this is the whole Pittsburgh class formation that just arrived, actually. Plus, we have the light cruisers Cincinnati and Baltimore. Plus, we have 1, 4, 6 destroyers that actually did manage to make it here. Plus, from our esteemed Japanese allies, we have this armored cruiser Aoba, which has no guns larger than 6 inches, but it does have a hell of a lot of guns 6 inches, and a thick armor belt, so it's not terrible. And the destroyer Akikaze, so altogether, 3 battleships, 4 armored cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 7 destroyers. Now, it just entirely depends. As you can see, the weather is kind of bad, but... And it's 10:30. Okay. It's nighttime. The weather isn't that bad, but it's nighttime, and that's possibly 2 very large ships right here, and Cincinnati just fired torpedoes at them without identifying them, which is bold, considering our battleships are off to her right side, but we'll just not get hit by those, hopefully. And that is a Cardinal Jimenez de Cisneros class armored cruiser. Really a small armored cruiser. And she just got plastered by actually mostly 3-inch guns that actually hit. But she is passing directly to starboard of 3 battleships right now. So I wouldn't be very happy if I were... Oh, she got hit by a torpedo. Oh my god, that torpedo from Cincinnati actually worked. Is that... Didn't she get the one last time? Has Cincinnati sunk 2 Spanish armored cruisers in 2 battles with the use of submerged torpedoes? Okay, well, that armored cruiser is dead. It's just gone instantly. There's another armored cruiser probably there, which we just hit with 2 12-inch shells, so I'm sure she's having a fun time. There's a bunch of destroyers in here, and our destroyers, for some reason, have decided that the appropriate course of action is to turn around, which it is not. So could we get back up here, please, guys? Thanks. I really could use somebody to screen us against all of these random German torpedo boats that our battleships are about to go plowing through. Do I actually have command of the Japanese? I'm not sure I did in previous games. Okay, that's a Galicia-class light cruiser. Being a light cruiser with a 1.5-inch belt, 3,300 tons. Oh, it's a very small and pathetic light cruiser, too. I am guessing that whole salvo of 12-inch shells was real bad for her. Yeah, she's stationary already. Maybe these destroyers can finish her off as they go by. Is this the convoy? I almost forgot there's a convoy. Oh, what a nightmare this is going to be. I mean, thankfully, we have such superior firepower, it seems like, that we got the first shots off and pretty much destroyed a lot of their fighting force. But there's a lot of madness going on right now as our whole force comes just plowing. Fortunately, our battleships are just south of the convoy, but people are firing torpedoes off like crazy men in the darkness. Pretty much any ship that gets hit by a torpedo will be instantly dead. We're engaging enemy destroyers at very close range. Oh, God. The battleship California just exploded due to being hit by a torpedo. I did suggest that being hit by a torpedo would be real bad. Um, Great. Okay, this battle is pretty much going to be a loss then. I. This is why night battles before radar are a bad idea. That battleship was worth more than everything in the enemy fleet here. I don't. Apparently, we haven't sunk enough transports yet. I'm not going back to finish the job. It could have been one of our own torpedoes that just sank that battleship, to be quite frank. I'm going to go back and finish the job because I think we've taken out all their destroyers. Probably. And our only hope of getting enough victory points to make this sort of worth... Okay, we got it. All right. All right. Where the hell is the nearest base? Make for Cuba. What the hell was this? What a... Look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ships at least that we actually saw sink here. Well, I don't know why that one's ship. They got not sunk ship, but Baltimore, why are you sailing the wrong way? Okay. You didn't even identify each other. Yeah. What a cluster. What madness. So we lost one of our newest battleships to that madness. That's very unfortunate. I'm certain we sank an armored cruiser, probably also a light cruiser. Wiped out this convoy, but not worth it. Oh well. I'm gonna have to be even more cautious with nighttime engagements in the future, though. The lack of... Are you also wildly detached? Where? Oh yeah, you're way back here. Why? Maintaining proper command and control over the fleet in such chaotic nighttime conditions. I mean, look how scattered some of our ships have become somehow. Huron is just solo fighting some random transports back here. Oh, never mind. She's engaging some destroyers. Please sail the other way. I can't take control of her because she's way too far away from our flagship, so... We've just got to hope that she'll get her act together and come west, which it seems like she's finally doing. What a mess. Oh, she's going back east. What a mess. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a Navy crippling disaster or anything. It'll probably go down as a... Well, I'm not sure it will go down as a win. We did achieve our objective, but it was not worth a battleship to lose it. Or to do it, but... In game terms, it might be a win. I'm not going to consider it a win. I'm not entirely convinced. We'll see in the after-action report. Oh, everything they had has been sunk. Yeah, they win. By a lot, because of that battleship we lost. When did we lose a destroyer? Well, so we lost the battleship California. Instantly hit by... Oh, it was one of their destroyers. A single torpedo hit blew up instantly. We also lost, apparently, this destroyer, which took a single, no, two 2-inch shell hits and eventually sank because of flooding, because destroyers are flimsy. We did sink the Cardinal Jimenez de Cisneros and the light cruiser Galicia and the destroyers T3 and Audaz, but and T20 and T12 for that matter, but not at all worth the battleship we lost, nor were the merchant kills. So that's A real shame. Oh, great. This is the one that gets to be actually given a name. Okay, we've commissioned 2 new armored cruisers. We've got improved annealing, gradual improvement of armor quality. Improved explosive filler packing for increase in shell damage. Oh, hey, we've invaded Guantanamo Bay, though, so that's got to count for something. Long run, it'll be worth the battleship if we just invade Guantanamo Bay successfully, but what a mess. I guess the Californias missed out on torpedo protection? Probably. They would have been the last ships built without it, I think. Yeah. So at least we'll have 4 again once the one that's under construction is finished. Okay, we have a huge monthly balance surplus. Thanks for watching, sailors. I hope you enjoyed the video. New parts should be up daily, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.